All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. So today I have a very interesting question to ask, not just you guys, the viewers, but just like it was just something that was kind of wandering in my head. And yes, the gameplay you are seeing is a team deathmatch, and this match specifically, I want you to pay attention to because it has a lot to do with what we're about to talk about. Now, the big question that I want to ask every single one of you is it the game? Or is it the player? Now, those of you guys that are veterans of first-person shooters would kind of understand where I'm going with this already. So basically what I mean is, are people playing a certain flavor of Call of Duty or a certain flavor of game specifically because that's the way the game is designed to be played? Or are they playing that game because it's their preference to play a certain way? Because as I've looked at Call of Duties over the last few years, especially, now I will tell you one thing is if they reduce the footstep sounds in Modern Warfare 2019 by like 70 to 80%, I would probably play the living hell out of that game, despite the fact that the map design is not is just not very good. Well, there are a few maps, there are a handful of maps in that game that are actually pretty damn good. Again, there's no such thing as a perfect map in Call of Duty, but I will say that Modern Warfare 2019 does have like a couple of maps or whatnot. But the thing is, the footsteps are so loud in that game. The spawns are kind of all over the place. The time to kill is very fast and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got your pros and cons and weapons, which whenever there are cons, they seem to favor the person that plays very slowly compared to the person that is a more fast-paced type of player. So what I'm thinking is, are people playing a certain flavor of Call of Duty, for instance, because of the design of the game, or is it simply because of the fact that they just enjoy playing that way or whatnot? Because if you look at this gameplay here in Call of Duty World War II, you will notice that, quite frankly, I don't think the spawns switch in this game. It's always our half versus their half. And the thing is, like even with Call of Duty World War II, both Modern Warfare 2019 and COD World War II could have like been incredible. I know that there are some people out there that think that the games are incredible the way they are, and that's great. That's, if you think that, then hey, more power to you. That means you enjoyed even more, you played even more, and you got the more bang for your buck, and you're getting more fun out of it. And in that aspect, I'm very, very happy for you. But for those of us that don't fully agree, I have to say that like there were just like a few little changes that they could have made. Like I can't really describe it, but for the most part, not in every map, but in like a handful of maps in Call of Duty World War II, they were simply held back because of map design. And I know that some of you guys were like, well, Jack, it's 3-lane map design. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, it's almost as if they put lanes within lanes or added additional lines of sight or whatever it was. Because like, even when you, like, again, pay attention to this gameplay here, you'll see exactly what goes on and stuff like that. So it just really kind of makes you think, are players actually playing like that because of by design, or is it because of the fact that they just enjoy playing a certain way? Now, granted, there's always challenges and stuff like that, and there are people out there that do challenges and everything like that. And despite the fact that Call of Duty World War II, in my eyes, kind of like, it didn't hit a bullseye. I mean, it did pretty well, especially after that overhaul, but it didn't hit the bullseye. But it missed the bullseye just by, like, map design. I think was one of the couple of things that I think they could have changed in order to make it better, in my humble opinion. And the thing is, like with this game, like I started playing Team Deathmatch, even though I haven't really played too much Team Deathmatch on it. I'm not too fond of it, but at the same time, I'm kind of intrigued by the challenge and kind of figuring things out. And this game is obviously more rusher friendly than obviously Modern Warfare 2022 and Modern Warfare 2019. So obviously Cold War and what's it called? Cold War and Vanguard were more rusher friendly, but there's just I just don't enjoy those games all that much. Cold War I enjoy more than Vanguard, but still, with this game you see a little bit more variety in players. You can get away with using more weapons, more class setups, more challenges, things like that. It's a lot more appealing. It's like it's almost perfect in a way. It's like you're not guaranteed to get that, you know, solid gameplay every single time. I mean, this gameplay here is not solid, but it was still, despite the fact that there was a lot of BS going on in this game, it was still relatively a good time, despite the fact that it was, you know, it was what it was. But I'm like legitimately curious, because I've heard so many players and players that are better than me as well are like, well, it's not the game, it's the people. But I don't know. I mean, they could be right. They could very well be right, you know, because there are players out there that are much better than myself, and even more experienced than myself. And I've been playing Call of Duty for a very long time, so it's something that I'm never hesitant to ask that question. Just because I've been playing Call of Duty and have a certain amount of knowledge and experience with the game, it does not stop me from continuing to learn and to see different viewpoints. And that's one of my favorite things about commentating as well, because it's like, okay, here's my viewpoint, here's what I have to say, and now it's like, okay, what do you have to say? What do you think? So it really is, it can go either way in my opinion, and sometimes it's even both. Like sometimes it's by design as well as the fact that players just like to play a certain way. So this is why certain games are more appealing to me than others, and this is also why certain game modes are more appealing to me than others. I'm sure till this day a lot of people still enjoy playing Domination simply because spawns are a lot more predictable in Domination. They're easier to predict in Domination than they would be, like, let's say, a team deathmatch or whatnot, or even a free-for-all for that matter, or a kill confirmed or something like that. So everybody's got their own motives for playing a game. You know, some people specifically play Domination because they just want to rack up as many kills as possible and play less of the objective or none at all, and just kind of maybe play defense or something like that. Other people out there are doing it for challenges. Other people out there are doing it for XP. Other people are out there doing it. Everybody's got a very specific reason, which is great. You know, I think all the reasons should be viable when you're playing Call of Duty. I think every single reason why you play and the way you play should be viable. It just so happens that the developers have a very hard time, especially when you look at World War II. When you look at the design of the game, overall, it's like they really tried to please everybody in terms of playstyle. And in certain ways, they've certainly succeeded, and in other ways, they have not. But I thought this was very interesting because it just kind of reminded me of a subject that I wanted to talk about that I'd forgotten about, and I wanted to bring it up here. So, in your opinion, do you think it's the player, or do you think it's the game? Do you think it's both? Do you think you know, I mean, like, is it too much of a, can we not point at one thing or the other? Is it literally both, and it's just overall the player's decision? I keep going back and forth, so this is where I want to hear some feedback from you guys on what your opinions on the matter are. Because going back to previous Call of Duties, you always see campers in every single Call of Duty you ever play, or even any game you play, except for maybe a couple of games, you know? Even Titanfall, you'd find, like, you wouldn't see too many of them, but, like, it'd be pretty rare, but sometimes you'd see somebody camping, or even Advanced Warfare, where everybody was all over the place in that game. Every so often, you would definitely see a camper. And I don't know what it is. I mean, it's like lately, especially with, like, Team Deathmatch, and Free-for-All, I don't see it as much, but in this game, but in Team Deathmatch, that I started playing yesterday and then as well as today, it's like I see a lot of people just chilling, like aiming down sights and a lot of times prone in the back of the map, and it's like, are you having fun? It's like, I don't like, again, everybody's got different tastes and stuff like that, so therefore I'm not judging. I'm just trying to understand. This is also another reason why I made this video, because I want to hear your point of view, and I want you guys to help me understand something that is still kind of a little bit of a blur to me, in a sense. So anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know down in the comment section what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.